Hi all, back with more Carrier Battle Philippine Seas Scenario 6, my part 22. So not long been away, just putting that bit together. And we're in turn 5, which is 10:50 during the day. We're only in action phase 1, and we're in the first time we've been in the US air attack segment. We've done our contact, we've increased our intel level, we've adjusted our commitment. This is exactly what we're moving on to now. Surprise. We've done everything else. So I've got a couple of green cubes. I want to say that this is what we're dealing with first, because we do have another airstrike going on that's going to be checked. Again, I guess just individually. Funny enough, I was just watching back on some footage when I first done the air raid and how they do the whole process individually for each. If you've got two different raids in the same hex, I know these are in different hexes, but there's nothing to tell me that I should have been doing these randomly or anything like that. I don't think it makes any difference. So this is what I've got marked here. That's the step that we're now on. So let's move that along a bit, because that's a bit I need to stretch around to avoid the glare. Right, so surprise. Determine whether the strike catches the target by surprise. 5.3. So let's have a look at that. Well, it's in here. So, and I say it's in here, it's just that when I was following through this intelligence part, there's nothing like that in there, or commitment. You sort of got to go and look. But I mean, it's just reminding you. Well, that's not so much a reminder, that's telling you what to do, but it's pretty straightforward. And that's a reminder that you might need to adjust the commitment. And this is part of the actual air to sea combat, isn't it? So, surprise. Right, here we go. To determine effects of surprise, roll the die and consult the surprise table. Card 1 back. We'll get that out of the ready. And, I'll be over there. Card 1 back. The result may modify Japanese cap and... Oh yeah, I forgot they're going to get to do that. May modify Japanese cap and AA die rolls, or prohibit cap and or AAA combat altogether. My guess is that's a complete surprise result, but that's a big 10 roll. So, although I got a 10 roll recently, didn't I? I was like, I needed a 10, and I think that was the only thing that was any good to me, and I got it. Happens, it can happen. Some of you might think I had to do retakes for that. No, I don't do that. Honestly, don't do that. The die roll is modified as listed on the table if the force has a US advantage marker or has not launched any air raid so far in the game. These modifiers are cumulative. Die roll is modified if the force has a US advantage marker or has not launched any air raid so far in the game. Oh. Well, we're attacking... That airstrike A is attacking a surface. It's a small. So that'll not have used a fort. But then again, that can't have a cap, can it? Well, it depends. I think there is still a slim chance that it could become a carrier. So we need to wait. Anyway, that's the other one. Let's deal with airstrike 7 first. Surprise applies only to strikes against carrier... Surprise applies to only strikes against carrier forces. Well, I think that's because non-carrier forces are not going to have a cap. Not so sure if they've got AA fire though. You would think they probably did. But anyway, if multiple strikes attack the same target in the same air attack segment, determine surprise separately for each strike. We have not got that. So then it starts talking about Japanese cap, which is kind of the next step. But let's deal with a surprise first. So surprise table. What's up there? Like I say, a 10 is complete surprise. That's kind of what you would like. So +1 US advantage marker. Well, there's not an advantage marker on the force, and I've still yet to achieve that. But the only bit I could see with that was when you got a result and moved a force. Well, in actual fact, see when we go to resolve that other airstrike, the fact it's a small. See if that was to move from a small to a carrier, I think that's when you get the advantage marker. We'll check that though. We'll see. We'll get to that. But anyway, so we've no US advantage marker. Has +1 if the force has not launched any raid. Well, it has. It's got one in place, right? In fact, it's got two. One of them's just coming back, but one of them's out there. So we're not getting that +1. So you can see that you need a 9 or a 10 for this. So the chances are, you know, well, you never know. So here we go. Looking for that big 10. Oh, so close. So an 8. Not quite a 9, but an 8. So 8 or less, no surprise, no effect, right? Okay, so we're not getting any of that. And you can see that the surprise was for partial, that the anti-aircraft fire would be halved, and the cap would get a -1 to their die roll, and we would get a +1 to our damage roll when we reach the ships. And for this one, it's even better. There'd be no anti-aircraft fire, -3 to the cap die roll, and +5 to your damage rolls on the ships. So, anyway, not to be this time. Right, so next step is, it's air-to-air combat. Well, Japanese cap, 5.4. It shows it across there in the procedure as air-to-air combat. Determine the strength of Japanese cap and resolve air-to-air combat. So we need to go through this carefully as well. That says, just because the first time, I mean, the next time I'm going to walk myself through that as well, but I'll not be reading right through it, you know. I'll be, well, I say that sometimes and I still end up doing it, don't I? That's why my videos take so long, huh? Right, in scenario 6 and after, use the following procedure to determine the strength of Japanese defensive fighters cap. In earlier scenarios, the strength of cap is fixed, right? Determine the target force's net air value. This is the printed air value minus the number of points currently unavailable. Yeah, because now he's got actual numbers, hasn't he? So it's an air value rather than a... Right, yeah, actually this could be a bit of a procedure, couldn't it? So that's 9.25. Determine the target force's net air value. This is the printed air value minus the number of points currently unavailable. 9.25, right? We're going to have to look for that first. So there's 9.25. Air value, level 3 forces. Well, we've not got a level 3 force anymore. We're level 4. So why is it? For raids, the printed air value is used to compute initial raid strength, which is then modified. For cap, you use a net air value, which is the base air value minus the number lost or unavailable. Right, let's see if we can break that down then. Okay, I'm a bit confused here, and I'm bringing back this because I'm wondering, because the thing is, we're not level 3 anymore, we're level 4. But that is an air value. That air value there is 5. Now, these numbers, these are the hit capacity, the one on the right. The one in the top left is their AA value. And that 7 that the cruiser force has got is its surface value. So there's no air value on these. So... oh, hold on. Wait a minute. I think I've got a good reason for not having carried on to this bit, because it did reference me to 9.25, whereas surely it should have been referencing me to 9.26, and this design note in between just put me off. Alright, there's my excuse. Right, so we should find it here. 9.26 air value, level 4 forces. Right, level 4 forces work like level 3, with the difference that when a force attains level 4, you draw its actual carrier counters and place them in the ship's box with the Butai display. From that point on, the force's air value is a sum of the printed air values of its carriers adjusted for... oh, and you know what? It's the number... it's a number in the yellow circle, isn't it? From that point on, the force's air value is the sum of the printed air values of the carriers. Just for permanent hats, we don't need to look at that rule. Yeah, it's the yellow box. Yeah, it's a one number I didn't look at when I came back here to check these numbers. Was that one in the yellow box? Yeah, I know, some of you are shaking your head. I know. So let's take this away and chuck it again then, because I didn't think that would have been relevant, because it's not level 3 anymore. So we can see, I think it's a 6, is it? It's a bit far away from me. A 6. So that is the air value of this force. And obviously it's just the carrier, because that's the one that launches the air. Now, in the lost box, you'll notice we've got 2, and this air raid's ongoing, and there's 2 in it as well. Now, we've also got another 2 in here, which aren't available. I'm assuming these aren't available, and these aren't available. So I don't think anything's available, and we've got 2 lost, and we've got 6 as a rare value, right? Right, still struggling a little bit through this. So again, it does reference me to 9.25, which I think as a misprint should say 9.26. However, 9.25, the second bullet here talks about for cap, and it chucks us back to 5.4, which is what we've just come from. You use a net air value, which is the base air value minus the number lost or unavailable, right? So, and then, but however, it seems to omit this part, and this air value level 4 forces, level 4 forces, well, it does say work like level 3. So, yeah, you could say that's the same. I would assume it's the same, with the difference that when a force attains level 4, you draw its actual carrier counter and place them in the ship's box, the two-tide display. From that point on, the force's air value is the sum of the printed air values of its carriers adjusted for any permanent hits. So that's its air value, and I think just maybe it might have been nicer to just, but it does refer that it's the same as level 3. So I think we can come back and look at this and understand. Sorry, we're not showing that. Understand that second bullet is also part of it being a level 4. So for cap, you use a net air value, which is a base air value minus the number lost or unavailable. Well, right. Well, there's again, this is this uncomfortable part that I'm in just now. If we were to take everything that's on the two-tide display, which, if we look back to, this is slightly different because known air strength is add all air points anywhere on the two-tide display, but this is known air strength. So I think we're now in a different place now because we're talking about air value rather than known air strength. So, but it still wants to remove the number of lost or unavailable, which is the same as what known air strength does. So known air strength in this situation, if we went at known air strength, I think it would be 2, 4, 6. I think it would count these. Now, the number that are lost or unavailable would also be 6. Because this isn't cycled through yet. It's not even in servicing yet. This is on another raid. And this is lost. So, if the known air strength was 6, the lost and unavailable was 6. And just to... I know we're not doing this. If we were to do 6 and 6 and adjust this on this raid strength reduction, which it seems to be how we've done it properly, 6 and then 6 you can see is a 2 again, but I don't think, well, use a net air value, right? So let's forget about known air strength again. The net air value is 6, but we take away the number of lost or unavailable. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 0. That means it's not got a cap at all. Now, it could be that that's right. It could be because, these have been launched from the carrier. They're away in the mission. These are lost points. And these haven't quite got back into servicing yet. And that's all the force that they've got, on that carrier. And remember, each one of the naval air points are so many points. I want to say it's not as much as our fighter, our aircraft units. I think it tells you at the beginning. Yeah, they are on page 4, 2.34. US air units represent 12 aircraft each. Japanese air points represent about 8 aircraft each. And it gives an explanation why the differences were. So if you think about a CVL, I mean, I don't know. I've got no knowledge of this, but some of you guys will know that CVL, that seems to say that it's got, what did I say, 6. So it's got 6 eights. You know, so that's, what's that? 32. No, not 32. 48. 48. So 48 aircraft. That probably sounds about right for a small CVL. I mean, with our CVLs, we've got a maximum of 3 counters, and they're 12s. Yeah, so that's 36. So that's about right. So it looks, that tends to suggest that all its aircraft are there, but none of them are available to come up, and we could be in that position. They could be attacking us, and we could have no aircraft available. So it could well be that the cap's going to be 0 here. Okay, but just reading on, and then I thought, well, let's just see. That might not technically mean that it's not got anything. So we locate the corresponding column of the Japanese cap strength table, card 2 front. Roll the die, and if the Japanese force was surprised, apply the modifier from the surprise table. Cross-reference the die roll with the column and read the result, which is number of air points of Japanese cap. Note that cap can appear even if the net air value is 0. And 2 points of cap can appear even if the net air value is 1. Air value is only what you know, not a precise count. Okay, and then we're going to get to that in a minute. So there you go. And before I read that, I'd looked at the table and realised that it doesn't have it just says 6 or less here. So our net air value minus unavailable, yeah, so that's the net of it, is 0, because we've got 6 air value minus 6 that are unavailable. Well, 2 are lost and 4 are unavailable. So we've got a 0, but we are going to roll on this column because it is 6 or less. We've not got a surprise. So, I mean, technically it could turn out to have 2 points. Couldn't it? It says 1, but note that cap can appear even if the net air value is 0. Yeah. And 2 points of cap can appear even if the net air value is 1. Eh? Surely 2 points can appear even if the net air value is 0 as well. Why is it saying that? Oh, mate, that's just, I'll read that again. Note that cap can appear even if the net air value is 0, and 2 points of cap can appear even if the net air value is 1. Well, to me, the way that reads is that 2 points of cap can appear if the net air value is 1, 2, well, 1 is, 0 to 6. Yeah? Right, just going to have a little BGG look, I think. Right, I can't seem to find any issue with this, so I think we're getting this right. We've got a net air value of 0, so we're going to roll in the 6 or less box, and yeah, we're just going to take that. I mean, obviously, if he does roll, well, actually, we can't get a 0 or less, can we? So he's definitely going to get 1 here, because if we had surprise, we might have the chance of that. So, yeah, anyway. Right, roll the 6. And like I say, to me, it looks like you could get a 2 result here as well if you rolled high. So a 6 is just a 1. So he's getting a cap strength of 1. So it says the cap, just reading it there myself, but the Japanese cap immediately attacks the strike using air-to-air combat procedure 4.5. US fighters escorting the strike fire back, subtracting 1 from their die rolls. Because it's a fighter we're attacking. Place any Japanese air points eliminated in this combat into the forces lost box. If more than one strike contacts the force in the same phase, generate cap only for when the first one arrives. Same cap fights all strikes arriving in that phase. Right, well, we've not got that state. After all airstrikes arriving in the face of concluded cap combat, return any surviving cap to the pile of unused counters. They count neither as lost nor as unavailable. Cap is generated again each time it is needed. Unused counters. Well, I don't think there's a box for that. So I'm not sure where you would put that. That's a bit of a strange one. Anyway, okay. So we have Airstrike Mission 7. Let's just bring him out there, and that's just his attack. Now let's see what he's got. He's got a lot of stuff. He's got 3. In fact, he's the one that's got 3 fighters. Airstrike 8 only had 2 fighters with us. So we've got 3 fighters. Right, and well, I won't separate these just now. These are the attack aircraft. Because I think we're just going to be dealing with this for now. And they have a cap of 1. So basically that's it. So the Japanese cap immediately attacks the strike using the air-to-air combat procedure. US fighters escorting the strike fire back, subtracting 1 from their die rolls. Okay, let's just get the air-to-air attack tables out. And let's just double check certain modifiers. So this time I guess the Japanese are firing first, so I'll do it in that order. We'll do them first. So let's see. Japanese fighters engage escorts on a 1-for-2 basis. So he only attacks these 2, I think. This other one gets left out. Right, we're going to have to look at that. 4.53. Then there's the results. Modifiers doesn't apply. No, because it's fighting escorts. And yeah, they're not in fuel critical state. I think that would apply there to them, but no. So let's just look at 4.53 to see how they... Yeah, I noticed when I was browsing there a little bit, there was a couple of questions about this, because I think there's it's a little fiddly. So it's in the section here, near-air combat, and 4.53 is in there somewhere. So this is on page 12. Strike combat, which is what we're doing. Japanese cap is randomly generated. We've done that. All Japanese cap points are fighters. Okay. Japanese fighters will engage any escorting American fighters on a 1-for-2 basis, i.e. 1 air point per 2 US escort units. If there are any excess Japanese cap points, they fight the US attack planes. Yeah, okay, so that's not the case. The 2 combats are resolved separately. Yeah, so if they had more cap than our fighters, then obviously some of them would get shoot attacker. Which is the same as what we would do, isn't it? It is possible, as a result of the A combat result, that some Japanese points will fight the escorts and then also fight the attack planes. Right? If there are no escorts, the number of Japanese cap points is doubled for purposes of the Japanese air-to-air combat table. For example, 4 cap points would use the 8 column. So if there's no escorts at all. Right, so I'm just wondering, I think we get to fire back with 3 then, don't we? He fires only on our 2 with a 1. And then when our combat comes in, we get 3 against his 1, surely. I think that's right. Damn, I just came across a couple of posts on that and I thought, no, I think that's well, I didn't know it was straightforward. I knew there was a little bit to it, but it is still just holding me there wondering. Will engage in escorting American fighters on a 1-for-2 basis, i.e. 1 air point per 2 US escorts. So I don't think he gets to fire at that, but I do feel that we get to fire back with our full 3. Let me go and have a quick look. Okay, so the question that I seen, there might be some others out here, was from playing scenario 2, which I think the procedure is the same. I don't think it's any different to what we're doing here. And what the guy had was, he had 3 fighters, and they generated a cap of 3. And he wondered what happened to the 3 points. So let's just... can I make some more change? Yeah, I can. Let's just say... I mean, not that this is what we've got, but it sort of makes it a little clearer to me as to how our situation works. So let's say we had this situation here, and the bombers, well, the attack planes are there. So one of these has got can engage 2. So it engages these 2. There's this one left over though. So this one has to engage it. Right? Now there's 1 point of that left over, but that doesn't come into it. It's got to cover it. I mean, if we had 4 fighters, he would cover they 2 and they would cover they 2. So you need to assign 2 of the naval air points to these 3 fighters. This naval air point would get through to fight the attack planes. And that's something similar. If you think of it, it's not exactly the same as what we've got. We've got to assign 1 aircraft to... no, what was it? 1 per 2 of these air points. So it's something similar, isn't it? So anyway, that's not what we've got though. So we've got 1 against 3. So yes, my assumption here is still going to be, because this he's getting involved. He's allowed to fire here, but this can only hit these 2. I mean, it doesn't really matter anyway. He's not going to get on the 1 column. You can only get an E result anyway for eliminate, so you can only eliminate one, and he would eliminate 1 of these. Then we would fire back with all 3, and then we would eliminate that one after the combat. That's I'm pretty sure that's how it goes. So let's just go with that. So what did I say? Japanese fighters Japanese fighters engage escorts 1 for 2 bases. Yeah, and you can see our one up there. Minimum 1 fighter unit per 2 Japanese escort points. So it's pretty much the same, isn't it? Except they're using points and we're using actual air units. So we said there was no modifiers. There is no modifiers. Right, so he's rolling on a 1. And he really needs an 8 or better. Oh, damn it. One of the thumps as well. One of the thump dice. So A. Right, so what happens here? So this is a result A versus attack. No, it's this one. It's versus escort, because that's what we are doing. 1 surviving point cap may fire versus attack point. Right, okay, so as long as we take this out, it's going to be the same result, and he's not going to matter to him, because he does only have the 1 point. So if we can, as long as we roll and take this out, it's not going to happen. However, if he does survive, he will get to go and have a shot at our attack planes. Okay, so now we're rolling, and I have to believe it's not just the 2 we're getting. We've got 3, so I think he's attacking as well, because he can't do anything else. That's why he's there. So we're rolling on the 3 column. However, we are getting a -1 for target being a fighter. What goes on that little? -1 for being a fighter. Doesn't apply. They're not fuel critical. Doesn't apply. So we get a -1 on the 3 column. So here we go. That should be good enough. So -1, 6 -1's a 5 on the 3 column. That might even be a 2. That is indeed. Sorry, I'm looking on the 5 column. Yeah, 3 column with the title of 5 grand. Is indeed a 1. Yeah, it's not really near a 2, is it? So it is indeed a 1. So although this guy was aborting and coming around, he doesn't survive, so he's gone. So that was successful, which I kind of thought it might be. Now, where does it tell us about? Yeah, lost. After all strikes arriving in the phase have concluded cap combat, return any surviving cap to the pile of unused counters. They count neither as... return any surviving cap to the pile of unused counters. Yeah, I'm not quite sure where that is and where I would put that and how I would differentiate between it being an unused. However, this was used and it was lost. So Butai 2 is going to receive another lost air point. Yep. Okay, and that is cap dealt with. So these now are not involved, so we can just shimmy them out of the way and bring out some of the big boys. We've got quite a lot here. I've got some 4s as well, though. Yeah, I've got a couple of 4s at the end. Right. Well, we've got anti-aircraft face as well. So, well, let's get back to the bit that we were at. We're on that page, actually. So, hang on. So, we're still going through this. This is the US airstrike attack procedure. That was our cap, and we resolved that. So now Japanese anti-aircraft fire, resolve the effects anti-aircraft fire 5.5. Note this step may be skipped depending on the surprise result. Well, we didn't get surprise. And of course, here at 5.5, they apply to both. Total the AA values printed on ship counters at upper left, see page 5, of all ships firing from the target force or task group. Okay, so ship counters at upper left. Right, so there's what we're up against. And the upper left numbers there are going to add up to 22. I'm just wanting to just double check. Yeah, AA value. That's a 2. I did say the upper left, so just grant myself in a little doubt there. But anyway, 22. So our anti-aircraft value, or their anti-aircraft value is 22. So, and we're now going to cut to front. We're now going to, on the anti-aircraft table, fire table, locate the highest column whose value does not exceed the total number of factors firing. If the adjusted total AA value is less than 10, the AA has no effect. Roll the die, cross-reference. Japanese AA results on the number of US air units aborted/eliminated, and then it gives you an explanation. Aborted air units remain in play, may return to the carrier or base, but they do not participate in the air-to-ship attack. Eliminated units are removed from play immediately. In each case, choose affected units randomly from the attack planes. That's not an order that we're choosing them, is it? No. I want to say that's probably just written alphabetically. It just means you random, because you wouldn't want to pick the ones with 4 strength first, would you? In fact, I thought somewhere that they picked... Oh no, it does. They pick randomly. That's right. Remember watching... Mike's playthrough where he wanted to pick one at first and then realised it was randomly. Yeah. So in each case, choose affected units randomly from amongst all them. Note that AA fire affects only attack planes, not the escorting fighters. Okay. US, yeah, that's against the US. So that's all we need for anti-aircraft. So 22 on here. There's no modifiers on this. Anti-aircraft table. 22, so we are just firing here. So you can see that as long as we can avoid a 7, we're going to be all good. Obviously a 9 and a 10 is pretty bad. Well, it is pretty bad actually. I wouldn't like to lose 2 of them. However, we are rolling on that column, on the 20 column. So here we go. Keep it low. Oh, rolled off that 7 onto the 3. I'll take it. I've seen that go the other way. So 20... on a 3-0-0, so nothing doing for the anti-aircraft. So now step 7, air-to-ship combat, resolve the attacks versus ships 5.6. Right, so this should be the final part. So air-to-ship attacks are resolved during each side's air attack segment. The rules of this section apply to both US and Japanese attack, with difference is as noted. So air-to-ship... Air-to-ship attacks use a 2-part procedure in which you determine a number of die rolls you get to make for damage and then make those rolls to determine the actual damage inflicted. Yeah, I suppose, well, we just done this. We've done it yesterday as well. We've done a couple of these for the Japanese, haven't we? So, well, just, yeah, it's not an awful lot. I'll just run through it again this last time. Total attack values for all air units in the strike. US air units have their attack values printed at upper right. Yeah, okay, so we can add that up. Look up the corresponding result in the air attack die rolls chart. Right, if there was no air-air combat between the attacking unit and either cap or intercept missions, the force total attack strength is doubled. Note that this will always apply to US attacks on Japanese surface force. This is intended, and that's why my next strike might get this, because I don't think it's going to be able to launch a cap. They did launch a cap, even though it was 1 point. They did launch it, even though we eliminated it, they still launched it. So we're not going to get to double that. Right. So moving on. A US airstrike must immediately expend 1 extra fuel point or less. I forgot about this one. Or else the US player must shift 1 column left. This represents time to coordinate the attack. Yeah, this just represents something that's annoying. Right, I'll have a look at fuel in a second. Let's just quickly run through this, and I shouldn't need to come back. The result indicates how many damage die rolls a strike is allowed, and a die roll modifier, which may be 0 for each. It can happen that different rolls are assigned different modifiers. Each damage die roll is assigned an individual ship target. All the rolls need to be assigned to targets before any die rolls are made. So if I end up with 3 die rolls, that seems a bit extreme, then I need to decide where all the die rolls are going to go before I actually start rolling them. For US attacks, the player can assign rolls however he likes, so we'll not need to read that because that's for the Japanese. We've already read that recently. Roll the die the specified number of times, apply modifiers listed, consult the air attack damage table card 2 front to determine the number of hits on each target ship, and then see 12.0 for damage effects. Yeah, we'll need to go to that. Well, I'm hoping we'll need to go to that, so I'm hoping we're going to do at least something. Okay, so immediately expend 1 extra fuel point or move 1 left. Well, what we want to know is our attack rolls die chart and strength and yeah, all that stuff. So first of all, quick glance at our fuel. It's at 5. Oh, now there's not been 1 talk there. In all that process, there was never mention of us spending a fuel point, was there? So that seems like a bit of something that should have it's saying 5.61. I don't think it tells you now. That's what we've just read. Now, I mean, it talks about the extra point of fuel. Well, it says must immediately expend 1 extra fuel point. Right, that's kind of missing something. What was I going to try and look for there? Airstrike attack. I thought I had some other thought about looking for something else there. What was it? I don't know. Yeah, so here's the fuel chart. US fuel expenditure summary. And I noticed a couple of folk were getting this muddled up because intercept combat is 3 fuel points. Airstrike attack is 1 fuel point. It references 5.61. The only mention of fuel in that is the extra fuel that you must spend to coordinate the attack. I'm kind of wondering. I mean, I figure that we need to spend 2 fuel points here then, but I'm starting to wonder if it maybe is just the 1. Give me a sec. Okay, had to do a bit of hunting for that one, but I figured it must have been out there. And it was a designer that answered. I mean, it was talking about one of the training scenarios again, but the question was, is it just 1 fuel to do the airstrike? And 1 fuel to do the shift, or are they both the 1 point? And the designer said no, they're not both the same point. So I will need to spend 2. So I should have spent 1 when we went into this. It's 7, isn't it? Yeah. So spending 1 there. So we're down to 4. Now, we've got this option now, if we want to shift or whatever. Well, let's see. We need to see our strength first. So we've got 5, 10, 15, 19, 23. So we've got 23. So it's quite nice. Air attack strength, 23. We're not quite reaching the 24. So 21, well, there you go. We are getting 3 die rolls. 3 die rolls with no modifiers. Yeah, it tells you they are Japanese air attack values. All attacks times 2 to all attack values. If no cap was there. And then this is a shift 1 column left if did not expend the extra fuel point. There it references 5.61, which I agree with because that's where it talks about it. It's not quite so clear. I think there should be something in there that tells you it costs you 1 fuel to carry out these air to ship attacks. I think I'm not seeing it. Maybe it's there, but. So, what did I say? 23. So we'll be rolling on that. However, unless if we don't pay a fuel, we're going to shift to there. That's huge, eh? That's 3 die rolls. Or 2 die rolls with, well, both of them are +1 modifier. Right, but let's look at our situation. So we are where the green cube is. And we're sitting at 4 fuel points. And we need to get back to here. So 4. Well, let's take the extreme. We want to pay this fuel. So let's take us down to 3. So then once we get out of here, after this is finished, 1, 2, 3. That's us on critical 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's us on critical 6. And we can't spend the extra point to land. So we're getting a +6 because we're on critical 6 and a +2 because we can't pay the extra point to land. We're going to get a +8 to all the aircraft's attempt at landing. And as you can see, that's a bit different to what we've had before. And the reason I add the extra 2 is because we could not spend the 1 fuel point to do the land because we would then be on 7 and be eliminated. And there's the +6, so +8. And we've got to get an 11 or less for no effect. So that tells you all die rolls need to be a 3 or less. I mean, okay, we might get away with it up to 13. So what did I say, an 8? So that's a 5 or less. We definitely, anything above a 5 and the unit's eliminated. So if we take that hit to our damage die roll, that gives us 1 extra. So that takes that down to a +5. Now, hold on. We would then be able to pay the 1, wouldn't we? So it'd be plus... no, because we'd be... Right, sorry, let's just double check. So if I don't pay the fuel, I'm on 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's me on 0. Yeah. And then critical 1, 2, 3, 4. Critical 5. Spend the 1 point, because that gives us a slightly better chance. So then we're on critical 6. So rather than the +8, we're going to get a +6. And that gives us a better chance, because even if we get the 13, that's a 7. Keeps us in the game. That's a tough call, isn't it? I feel like we should take that on. And only because we're having to get the extra +2 because we can't pay the point to land. And that's what's screwing us over. And that's why it makes it worthwhile here, I think, to keep the fuel. But, I don't know, maybe you would do it differently. That's a lot of aircraft. We've got 3 fighters and 8. I mean, what was I going to say? 8, 10, 11. Yeah, so anything on a 4 or above is, well, it's got. If you got a 4 or a 5, you still got a chance. But we will lose some aircraft for sure. Now, I'm not saying we'll not lose any going the other way, but it does give us a slightly better chance. And you know what? There's only 2 ships. So, mind you, I probably would want to put 2 attacks on this, wouldn't I? Let's look at the damage then. Well, first of all, these are the hit point numbers. Again, I'm doubting that one, but I'm pretty sure. So I think it's a 6 for the CVL and a 10 for the cruiser force. Yeah, that's hit capacity. Now, I'm not going to start looking at damage things and whatever. I mean, I'm going to have to look at that shortly, but so if we roll 2 dice and if we decide to go for 1 each, well, he's got 6, so can we get 6 hits? Oh no, look. No. We cannot. We need more than. So that's Japanese. American attacks, apply modifier from Japanese attack table. Eh? Oh, this was an error. That's meant to mean the surprise table. I remember coming across that. I wonder if that's an errata. Card 2 front. Well, it's not. Oh, well, card 2 back. It says card 2 back in the errata here. Air attack damage table. Yeah, so that's errata with an errata. That should say card 2 front, because that's what I'm looking at right now. Air attack damage table modifiers. American attacks change Japanese attack table to surprise table. So it must have been asked on BGG. So that should say surprise table, which we didn't get any surprise. +1 per air. Oh. +1 per air point and servicing box of turnaround track for this 4. Yeah, I looked at this as well, and this was kind of huge, and the designer answered this to the question the guy was asking. And we don't have any here, but it specifically says servicing box of turnaround track. +1 per air point. The guy had 6. Well, when he's in his game, there was 6 naval air points in servicing. And he had to ask the question, am I getting +6? A +6 die roll to each of my rolls here? And the answer was yes. So that was extreme. So that's a good place to catch them when they've got. But you can see it's only if they're in the 2 boxes, going by what I'm reading anyway. So we're not benefiting from any of that. So if we take the fuel point off, we've got 2 die rolls with a +1. You can see that if we were wanting that carrier, we'd probably need to fire both dice at it, which I think's a good idea though, isn't it? You can see we need 6 points, but remember we're getting a +1 to each die roll, so technically 2 2s would do it. 2 2 hits, sorry. No, you're taking away hits to modifier to die rolls, correct? I still need 6 hits. So yeah, let's just say I rolled a 5 with a +1. That would give me 3 hits, and a 5 with a +1. That's 2 5s on 2d10s. You know, that's. Okay, we could get lucky and roll a 10 and get 5 hits, and then only need 1 hit, and that would be probably fine because we're getting a +1. Yeah, it would be. So I suppose I now need to know what's the best choice here, and this is where I need to probably look up more stuff, don't I? Okay, I could just go in here and let's just go for one of them or chuck 1 on each. Obviously, if I didn't spend the fuel, I'd get 3 die rolls. So without modifiers, you know what? I think we'll just go for this. I'm going to spend. No, I'm not going to spend the fuel. So I'm not going to spend the fuel, and we're just going to go for the carrier. So I was at 23. 10, 15, 19, 23. So I had to be looking at this column. I'm now in 1 column left. I've got 2 die rolls, and I get a +1 to each of the die rolls. And we're going to go for the the CVL, who's got 6 hit points, hit capacity, and both die rolls are going in hand. Yeah, let's just do that. And then later on, I'll find out if that was the right... Or I might say to myself, oh, I'd been better doing this, that, the next thing. Okay, so we're getting a +1 to each of these die rolls. And there down the bottom is going to be the results. So let's just go with it. Here's the first one. Oh my. Well, just as well we're getting the +1, because I think that gives me 1 hit. So 1 modified to a 2 is 1 hit. So now, now we need this 10. If we're going to take him out. No, we're getting a +1, so I need a 9. Right, here we go. Oh, how about that? Yes. Right, so we rolled a 9, modified to a 10. There's another 5 hits on the 1 hit that we had. How lucky was that? So we've got 6 hits, just enough to take this guy out. And yeah, I've had a couple of die rolls that have been really important and worked for me. So good, nice to see it that way rather than the other way. So I was watching a bit back when we tried to take out, what was it, our anti-aircraft fire, I think was terrible. Oh, no, it was actual attacks on the... Anyway, right, so 6 hits on that carrier. We didn't bother touching that, so it's not been harmed. Then we need to... airship attacks. Yeah, and then I just need to go C12 for damage effects. So yeah, I'm not sure if this is... Well, I think it is. I've got 6 points, so let's get to rule 12. Right, and as usual, things are dragging on a bit here. I'm going to have to get away and do some other things. So let's just finish this part off. Hopefully I can get this done, and then we can come back and do the other airstrike mission. So all damage to... This is US carrier damage, right? We don't need that. Hopefully we won't need that for a while. Right, Japanese carrier damage. There's a design note. Basic idea is that damage to a Japanese carrier will affect the force's ability to launch planes, but will not affect raids already in the air, since raids were launched sometime before. Well, that's quite relevant because they do have a raid away. Yes, so that's going to have some effect. It's necessary to take into account whether damage happened before a particular raid was launched or after. Right, okay, so that raid's still going. Let's just see if we can just... Japanese carriers are 3 types of hits, but he's got 6 hits on him, Grant. Is that not just it? When hits are initially suffered, place the hit current marker and the correct number of hits. Sorry, place a hit current turn marker and the correct number of hits. So, yeah, I don't know if this is necessary or not, but as in numbers, yeah. So a hit current turn marker. Well, let's just have a look at it. So, well, these are all numbered. So I've got a 5 and a 1. So that's what these are. But I mean, this. I think this is still... I don't think I need these. I'm pretty sure the guy's toast. In the update hit markers, do the following: replace hit previous turn marker with a permanent hit marker. Yeah, it tells you when it... I don't know, I'm just moving on here. I mean, I maybe you're looking for something that's not there, and it's quite obvious that this ship is destroyed. I just like to see it written. Japanese carriers, right, crippled. If all its hits... Japanese carrier is sunk if it suffers permanent hits equal to or exceeding its hit capacity. Okay, so it's maybe not sunk then. Well, just as well I read on and not assumed. I think this is another one I'd maybe like to look up on. But okay, So we're going to say these are current hit markers, and these are not permanent. And if we look, update hit markers, hit current turn to previous hit. See, that step turns them into previous, and then that step turns them into permanent, and that's when they would be destroyed. So, but that's a whole couple of turns to go by. So they're just going to suffer the consequences, I think, with a 6, which I'm guessing is going to cripple them or heavily damage or whatever. Japanese card, see, again, maybe not. It's talking there, if all hits, permanent and otherwise, total 1 or 2 less than the hit capacity, or 1 less than a hit capacity for a CVL, all hits are counted for this purpose, not just permanent hits. It does say there 12.27, Japanese carrier sunk if it suffers permanent hits equal to, but that's permanent hits. Okay, we're going to give it its current hits, and we're going to put it back. That's it there back with 6 current hits, because I'm going to have to get going here. So I want to say that's the procedure finished. There's maybe something more to look at regarding what happens to this, what happens to the air points that are on this. The raid, I think we understand that it's still ongoing, but I think when it comes back to try and land, things are going to affect it. So that's us been through all these segments. However, we're now going to go straight back to contact again, but this is where I'm going to leave the video. Because that was Butai 2 being attacked, and we're going to have to put Airstrike 7 back in there. I'll put the aircraft back in a minute, and then we're going to move up to this one and go through that procedure, which has got some differences because that's just a small target, so not quite sure how that's going to all pan out. Right, I'll put these back in the Air Mission 7 box. Right, and I'll maybe just put a little green cube up there just beside this current hit marker on Butai 2, just as a wee reminder to bring it to my attention that we want to look a little more into that, because I think there's more to it than that. They don't suffer from fire, I remember that one, yeah. So I'll look a wee bit more into that. Obviously, also I want to look in BGG and just confirm that that is not destroyed. Like I say, 12.27 seems to suggest that it's still hanging in there now, but it's going to be destroyed in a couple of turns, but I might be missing something with that. Right, I better get away for now because there are a few other things I need to do, and I'll be back later. Okay, cheers. Yeah, there was a couple of... Oh, I'll talk about them later. There was a couple of notes that I took that I put in the headers of some videos. I think there was one relevant. I can't remember what it was now though. Yeah, the one I remember was I made some rolls. One of the this was a wee while back actually. It was the video footage that I just watched. We had an intercept mission attacking some Japanese raid, and we had two of the... I want to say 2 of them were, or no, was it just one? They had critical fuel, and they should have. I took the -2 away from them when they attacked. However, what I didn't do was give the +2 to the air raid fighters when they attacked. Fortunately, I got away with it. I've noted it in the header. I got away with it. The results happened to just be the same results, which was kind of lucky. So I got away with that one. But need to watch that one. One of the ones that's easy to forget, but it's annoying when you see it because, like I say, I took the -2 off when I attacked them, but I didn't add the +2 on when they attacked us. Right, I'll get away for now and back later. Cheers.